Welcome to Fighters Drinking Coffee. Today, we have our special guest, Dimitri Chrisos, here with us today. Dimitri, go ahead.
Hi guys, thank you for having me. First of all, I was surprised that you invited me on your podcast, and the reason is that I don't drink coffee.
Yeah,
Is that?
I mean, when you rejected my coffee, I don't know.
Qualified?
It's up for debate at the moment, but you're here. We're not going to kick you out. We'll do a few minutes. It's okay.
Thank you.
We got you here at this point.
I'll just drink water for now.
Fighters drinking water.
Yeah,
No water.
Now, if it was fighters drinking whiskey, beer,
I'm happy to accommodate the whiskey.
We've done that one.
This podcast was later in the day or the evening. Would have been a little bit more fun.
Well, next time we do that, which we can do, I can facilitate whiskey, beer, whatever you want. Maybe some snacks.
Actual dinner will be nice.
Okay.
I don't want to drink that this stuff.
Yeah, we'll do fighters doing dinner next time.
Fighters eating dinner. Yeah, I would love that.
It'd be a slow-paced podcast. Anyway, so thank you for having me. I'm a third-degree black belt under BJJ Revolution. My instructor is actually, he has the same name, Demetrius. Yes, Ramos, even though he's Brazilian. Interestingly enough, this is some cool facts. He was born on the same year, born on the same month, born one day apart.
Come on.
Yes, I'm one day older, so I do pull seniority sometimes.
I like that.
On my instructor, and he's a black belt under Rodrigo Medeiros, who is a co-founder of the BJJ Revolution team under Carson Gracie, 6th-degree black belt. So he's based out of San Diego, and very proud of the lineage. I have my own academy named after myself, Dimitri Chrisos Jiu-Jitsu Academy Santilli. Recently, we partner up with 4th-degree black belt Samuel Cancarino. We're teaching classes together, both kids and adults. And he's also of Carlson Gracie lineage. And he used to train back in the day when he first moved to the U.S. Before he moved to UAE and returned to the U.S., he trained out of Rodrigo's gym in San Diego for a little bit. So common lineage there. I'm very proud of that. And in addition to all this, what I'm also been busy in the last, 8-9 years, is running some tournaments in the region, and those are the Copa tournaments that you probably are aware. We run our regular style format tournament mostly under the name Copa Virginia. When we do run them in Virginia, we run them in the past in other states as well. And we do have a super fight event format that is called Copa Elite. And that's it. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I know both of us have done Copa Elite before, so we know those are run very well. We've actually talked about them on the show before as well. So.
Yeah, the whole tournament experience, to give Dimitri credit, it's having been to many different tournaments. I won't name names, Grappling Industries, they run a little chaotic. Grappling Industries, I've been hard on them, but they get good competitors, so I'm gonna give them credit where credit's due. But one thing I like about your tournament, you also get good competitors, but they're run very diligently and organized and on time, which makes a huge difference when you're coaching or when you're competing for that matter. Or, when you have families go there and it's kids, a lot of people doing it for the first time. So that I think makes a big difference.
Yeah, we harp on tournaments being on time a lot on this show. Actually, we've gone over the different formats, and it's awesome having especially a local focus tournament that's so to the point, on time, everything runs smoothly. That makes a huge difference, especially with growing the scene around here too. So it's been great to have.
Well, thank you for that. This is something that we are very proud of, and one of the reasons we started the tournament back in the day. And the tournaments would not be possible without your support and other academy owners and just practitioners' support. So we appreciate that. But back in the day, before I started this, there used to be another local tournament, interestingly enough, called Copa Nova, and I competed in Copa Nova, and a lot of my students used to compete, and that was run 3-4 times a year. It was It was run under a guy named Dan, and he used to own a Helson Gracie affiliate academy, Fighter Works, and eventually he moved out of state, so he was not able to run the tournament anymore. And back then, we didn't have a very robust tournament circuit. So suddenly my students, and I'm sure your students, were not able to go to as many local tournaments as they wanted. So there was a need for that. So I decided to, hey, let's do some in-house tournaments. And I invited a couple of academies. Scott was kind enough not only to bring his students, but actually refereeing a few of those in-house tournaments. And initially they were free. And then we said, hey, why don't you, if you compete, why don't you donate $5 and then we all go for pizza afterwards? So then we started going for pizza, but then people start winning and they're like, well, it would be nice if I get a medal after I win. And we're like, okay, but then I have to charge a little bit more. So I think the first true reiteration of a tournament was Copa Chantilly that we had at my original academy back in the day. And then we said, well, let's move it to another academy. And we had Copa Arlington, which was at
Nova.
at Scott's older version of his current academy, and a lot of current black belts that were blue belts back in the day, and purple belts competed back then. And then we're like, well, that kind of like maxes out. You can only run so many tournaments in an academy, and if you want to actually make this grow, you have to go and rent a place and do something. But so that's how Copa Virginia eventually was created. And I eventually actually bought some of the gear for Copa Nova, and since they so it was like a transition, and that's why then the similarity in name, but also traditionally speaking, in Brazil, everything that did not run under the federation used to run under the name Copa, like Cup, so there's a tradition there. But so the impetus was having a local tournament. And eventually, so when we got going, of course, other tournaments showed up in the scene. 2 was make it a run on time or smoothly run, and that's something that I made sure. I said, if I cannot run a tournament the way that I want to run it, I might as well go home and don't run a tournament. And I think we were the first who started implementing Smoothcomp, and I think right about the same time, everybody started using Smoothcomp as a software company, because people forget that before Smoothcomp, everything was manual. I remember tournaments with Excel spreadsheets.
Pen and paper?
Yeah, pen and paper. That's one of the reasons was it was chaotic. And I remember when I was a white belt and blue belt, and I was in the military training in Texas, I used to drive 8 hours, wait for 8 hours to compete, fight a couple matches, and then drive 8 hours back. And that was the norm. Like, even if you went to other established tournaments back in the day, that was kind of the norm. So I wanted to make sure that I had a tournament that kind of run on time. Now, everybody runs a Smoothcomp, but still not everybody.
It's not so smooth.
It's not so smooth.
Yes.
So it does require some skill. I think we are proud of that. Of course, you mentioned this other tournament. I think you can always learn the good and the bad from other tournaments, and that is great. And I think, as you said, Grappling Industries offers, there's a lot of competitors there. People love it because there's so many people competing. It's just a different style of experience. I wanted to run a tournament that was closer to the IBJJF rule set. That was one, as a preparatory tournament for that scene or for that style of competition. And the other thing that I wanted was, I wanted to have a better venue. Like I have certain requirements when I go out and I get a venue. Like I want the venue to have a parking lot, a parking garage somewhere that you don't have to look for your parking spot. I want to have to be climate control. I want to have locker rooms or bathrooms that are clean. I want the place to have bleachers so you can leave your stuff, so you don't have to carry all those picnic chairs and tables and all that stuff. So at the end, from a production standpoint, my tournaments tend to be, I think, a little bit more expensive, less profit for me, but I'm more proud of them.
They're better run.
Yeah, I feel more comfortable that way. So, sometimes I make this analogy, and I don't know if it's accurate. You tell me what you think. You know, I think Copa Virginia is like a restaurant, like a decent restaurant. And then some of these other tournaments is more of a fast food place. Now, there's nothing wrong with fast food. I like fast food. I go and get my fill sometimes, but it's like,
It's busy.
yeah, it's busy.
Yeah.
It's you know, you pay what you know, you get what you pay for it and everything else. Maybe you don't go to a restaurant every day, but when you do, it's a more of a sit down experience. They kind of take care of you. So that's the analogy I like to use. Nothing wrong with any of those, you know, types of establishments. It's just different. Depends what you want.
I know
you're
exactly
looking
what you
for.
mean.
Yeah,
And I pick on grappling industries a lot, but I think they're a victim of their own success. They're so popular.
absolutely.
And they run a lot of events, and people know the name and they want to go, and so they get a ton of people to register. There was one time, this is the root of one of my gripes with them, and I messaged them about this. It was during the pandemic when the supply was withheld, but the demand was crazy high. Like all the jiu-jitsu guys wanted to compete. They ran a couple tournaments, and there were just so many people. Smoothcomp matches were getting spit out for like midnight, 1 a.m. And I was like, guys, like I'm not doing that. I told my students, I was like, I'm not staying till 2:30 in the morning to run this. And I messaged them and said, guys, like, are you really going to do this? I think they did. I'm like, make it 2 days, figure it out. I understand you're going through a lot with the pandemic and all that, but that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And they weren't doing refunds either. Again, get it. They're trying to run their business. They're trying to survive, but anyways, but I think so many people go there. It gets so packed. That's part of what I don't love the experience. But again, they get good competitors. People want to show up. So when you as a competitor, when you get to the match, good match. They referee well. They do their job. Got it.
Yeah,
So,
they, you know, to be fair, I think they've been trying to improve, but yeah, there have been some. I think the DMV tournaments are very popular and they get a lot of people, but also some of them run very late, and they have been trying to improve. And as I said, yeah, different experience. You know, I have some friends there that work for them and everything, so they'll be trying their best. But also they do this round robin format. We don't do that. We do. For the most part, we do single elimination unless you're a kid, and then we do double elimination to ensure the other difference that we do in comparison to IBJJF, we run the third place matches, so people get more matches that way, but we're not there until the end of the night, you know, until the morning hours, and so yes, I mean, I think, and also another thing that I make sure it happens is that I get qualified referees, and I know that can be a hurtful subject for some people because you're never going to be happy with the refereeing. You know, you go to a tournament long enough, you know, and you're gonna have complaints for the refereeing. But I try to get qualified people to referee. They're either experienced black belts or some you know, very experienced brown belts. And I know for a fact that other tournaments do not do that. You know, you can see anywhere between you know, from a blue belt to a black belt running. So it's not always the same. So that's it. And we're very happy. Our next event is on September 6th, and it's on the same place that we'll be doing it for some time, which is at the Nova Community College in Annandale at their gymnasium. I think it's a very nice venue. I might have an announcement pretty soon, like in a week. We're looking to add a tournament in November, Copa Virginia tournament, just to finish off the year. Unfortunately, our venue is not available, so we might be doing it somewhere else very close, but an equally, if not a better, a venue that they want. A Nova, I don't want to say anything since things are not finalized, but I might have some news for you in a week or so. And then by September, I should be finalizing at least the first events for 2026. Okay.
well, we'll break some news when the news is ready to break.
Absolutely.
We'll help
Absolutely.
put it out there so people know that the venue change is it's an upgrade, and
Thank
we'll
you.
get everyone there.
Thank you.
To your point earlier, like you made a comment that I want to talk about, which is that in our area years ago, well, in any area years ago, like you said, tournaments were limited. You drive wherever. If you were hungry for some action, you'd have to go all over the place to do this. In the DC area, now it seems like at least once a month you'll find some good action, which is if you're willing to drive about let's say 2 hours ish in any one direction, you'll find something, which is good for competitors. It's an improvement. What I like about what you're doing, like you said, starting local, doing a good job. I would say from my looks, I mean, there are some new folks in our area who are pretty new tournament companies that are starting to pop up as well. But you've been the most consistent local quality competition circuit that people in our area can participate in and count on, which makes a big difference. It's good for the whole scene.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for that. We try to run 3, 4 Copa Virginia tournaments a year. And at the end of the year, we do kind of award ceremony for the academies that had the most points in 3 different divisions: the kids division, the adults gi, and adults no gi. Yeah, we've been trying to do that. What you said is interesting because we used to have more tournaments in the area. Like Fuji used to come in here, and New Breed used to come in here, and now they're in the periphery. They run maybe now a different model. Maybe they don't go as close to the urban area. Maybe they go a little bit outside. PBJF, the same thing. They run a tournament a little bit farther away now, but their local tournaments are basically based in Maryland for the most part. When they come to Virginia, it's a little bit farther out. So I that's another thing. That's another reason my production is a little bit more expensive, because I try to be in the urban center as much as possible and closer to the academy, so people do not have to drive as much. So yeah. And another thing that we do differently, if I may, from IBJJF, when I do have my no-gi divisions, because people have asked me that, because other tournaments used to be like this. I don't go by belt for no-gi. I go by experience level. I do 3 levels only: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And basically beginners for white belts, intermediates for blue belts, and or people who have like grappling experience, and then advances for basically purple belt and over. And that is the continuation of other local tournaments that used to exist but don't exist anymore. Once again, dropping the name for Copa Nova and U.S. Grappling, back in the day. Some people ask me, when are you going to switch over? And I think I'm not. I was thinking about it, but I think I'm going to stay with the levels, because it provides a forum, a venue for a lot of people that maybe do not have formal ranking in jiu-jitsu, but they're great grapplers. Because the other thing that I do is I run a cash price advanced no-gi absolute division for $500. And I used to run more of them, but I think that's the only one that was popular. I mean, I used to run one for the ladies and for the intermediate folks, but it seems like the advanced one was the one. And we had featured a lot of our local stars. We had some local based UFC fighters that competed there. We had, I think, Gavin Corbin, the brothers there. I think the younger one from back in the day. So a lot of people that kind of like are pretty well known today have competed, and sometimes are still competing in our tournament. So if you want to check out who's who, come and see our advanced no-gi absolute division. And there's a cash prize involved, which it's not a lot of money, but if you use our early bird registration opportunity, which is only $50 for registration, you can make 10 times more. $500. And another thing, when I used to come up, when I was a blue belt and purple belt, people offering us money. Are you serious? It didn't exist. And sometimes I'm surprised why not more people jumping in the opportunity. And it's, I mean, sometimes we get a very good turnout, but I'm like, why not? Maybe because people are now hesitant, because it has been attracting
High level,
talented, higher level people, more talented. And, we also post highlights, or we post matches on different platforms, from YouTube to social media. So maybe that, that's, stops people or makes them think twice. But I would say, on the contrary, they should push themselves and challenge themselves and jump and fight with what the area is best, or what they have to offer, and see where you where you stand. I would love to have, once again, I would have loved to have these types of opportunities when I was coming up the ranks.
I think that's actually like a selling point too for what you do. The advanced cash division, because as you said, maybe if there's been a dip in participation, I would say you're attracting higher level talent too, which I think is, like you said, it's what makes the product unique, which is that there's the consistency of the IBJJF scoring system for even including that, right? Like in that division, albeit as you said, it's not belt ranked, but nonetheless, it gives, let's say, all of your customers some awareness of what other and I've often called the IBJJF like the de facto pro league for jiu-jitsu. So it gets people exposure to what to expect for that tournament. PBJF does it too. So there's a consistency with that I think all of your participants can benefit from. But then when there comes like the excitement, like the sizzle and of the steak that you bring to that event is the advanced division, which, like you said, there's been a ton of local guys who are now national or international stars who have gone through. Sam Kilmer done that. He's won the division.
Absolutely.
Cameron Hurd,
Yeah.
who's, he just won 4 back-to-back ADCC tournaments. He's in PJF.
So many
PGF.
names.
Yeah, a
so
lot.
many names.
And you'll get guys
Christian
from all of the
Christian Barnhart. Yeah, there's been so many people that now you see them, and I think IBJJF sometimes gets a lot of hate, but you don't understand. Before the IBJJF, there was chaos. There was multiple federations. Brazil, they kind of standardize everything, and that's the standard that most academies are using as far as bell ranking, the point system. It's as you said, it's the status quo. It's been established for some time now. And, their tournaments kind of set the tone. They're the big kahuna. When you playing football, NFL is the big kahuna. So same thing when you do jiu-jitsu, either you like it or not, IBJJF is the big kahuna, kind of sets the standard. So we're following their point system and their standard. And I think we're happy with that, for the most part. So people are always asking us, what about doing an ADCC rule set or this or that, or, take off advantages or no points or submission only. Well, there's a pros and cons to all of those, but, I think doing with something that's been more established, it's more comfortable for everybody. Plus, if we do a submission only, which just grappling used to do back in the day, but some of the matches were like, an hour and a half.
The no time limits.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that was too much. Way too much.
Okay, I'm like,
no, the consistency is good.
Yeah.
And people are always, I have done it myself. I've complained about the IBJJF, but I keep going back, and I think they do a good job. I think, like you said, people are always going to complain about like the top thing in anything. People always complain about it, and I understand the complaints. Usually comes down to, in my opinion, it's like referee decisions. People just get salty about that, and that's just baked into it. The referees they're humans. They're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen, and so people generally get heartburn from that. But I think they're doing a good job.
Yeah, they improved their. I mean, I used to go to IBJJF tournaments in the early 2000s, so I know how much they improved. I used to go to the pants when the bleachers were empty, and you had people like Roger Gracie and Jacare compete, and Braulio Estima. I mean, they were empty. I mean, I remember when nobody knew about acai, and there was a big cart outside with some Brazilians selling acai. And now, my wife goes and eats acai twice a week or something like that. It just, you don't understand that, that culture that basically came from Rio that kind of like popularized it along with jiu-jitsu. And so, as I said, the federation has done some great things in establishing sport. Can they do more? I mean, can they open up to jiu-jitsu even more to the mainstream? Because I think some of the mainstream acceptance has happened with podcasts like yourselves, with Joe Rogan or Joko, and they popularized jiu-jitsu even more. But, why not see jiu-jitsu on ESPN or, NBC or, and people are like, oh, is it exciting enough? Well, I will tell you it is, because I see fishing on ESPN or golfing, and can assure you jiu-jitsu has more action than those two sports.
Well, you're preaching to the choir. I've seen people play cornhole. I've seen cornhole.
Yeah.
Hot dog contests.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's more action. Michael, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely there's definitely way more boring sports on TV. Like, Yeah, jujitsu can
with
be
big
slow.
sponsors.
Yeah.
With big
yeah.
sponsors.
You got
Nathan's
like
hot dogs.
huge companies sponsoring the most like absurd sport. They had marble racing.
Yes.
They had marble racing on ESPN
Yes,
during COVID.
yes.
But like you
So-
could absolutely get that on TV.
So-
There's no reason.
So is there a lot more things that can be done to popularize our sport? Yeah, our martial art, absolutely. And hopefully we're doing a small part. And as I was saying to some friends the other day, I said if Copa Virginia stopped tomorrow, which we're not planning, we're looking to expand and move forward, and hopefully with your support. But if we stop tomorrow, at least we have done our small part for the community to kind of enhance jiu-jitsu and spread jiu-jitsu in the area and make sure that people had a good experience when coming to our tournament.
We want you to expand.
Yeah, definitely.
We want that.
I think it's good too. Like there's a lot of younger people in the sport. They're getting exposure to what like the rule set and everything they need to compete in like the bigger federation like you're talking about. And I think that makes a huge difference in like getting people confident enough to enter in and compete at like IBJJF and everything like that as well. Especially now that they have that in Virginia. Now they have the open here. So I think it's helping to bridge that gap and get people to like take that next step, which is great.
Yeah, two things on that. As I said, the vision for the tournament is to almost be like a preparatory tournament for IBJJF to kind of introduce you, because I get a lot of emails and they're like, are there hard rules on the weight divisions? Is there a hard cut, or how much is the leeway? Because there's other tournaments out there that doesn't matter how much you weigh. It doesn't matter what weight division you registered. They'll figure it out for you. Well, that's not the case for a tournament. You got to make your weight. Otherwise, what's the whole point of having weight divisions? You're like, oh, what about a 2 pound? I mean, then it's not a weight division that stops at 167.5. Then it goes to 169.5. And yes, you have to weigh in the day of and, not the day before. You have to weigh in with your uniform. And so we do not promote, a lot of like drastic weight cutting, and we want to keep it healthy and all that stuff. So that's our philosophy. And some people like it, some people don't. But
You have to have standards.
Yeah, I mean, and it helps the tournament run smoother, because if you have to change everybody's weight division because they did not make weight and did not respect that, then you're running behind on schedule, and you don't have happy customers.
You're a reasonable guy. The amount of times that we've communicated before a tournament, I'm like, hey, Dimitri, I need help with this person. You'll help people out. Like,
of course. Absolutely. We give you plenty of chances to make weight, and, we'll help you out. And, I'll give you my sweatshirt so you can sweat even more, and send you to the bathroom a couple times, and which is clean. Speaking of, even the local IBJJF tournament, man, those bathrooms were a challenge. So, that's another pet peeve on mine. Another, hygiene. Like, I make sure both the warm-up mats and our regular mats are mopped with Pine Sol, like the day before, the night before. Like, I'm not sure that everybody does.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if no one does that.
Or the way that they do it. Oh, we just spray something and it's okay. Well, it's not okay.
It's tough, right? And people are trying to they want to make a buck. They got to be.
It's standards, man. I think it's standards.
It's standards.
It's standards. Some people just, when you walk in somebody's house, some people have a clean house. Some people do not have a clean house.
That's what's up.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
I've been at tournaments and seen the mats get rolled up right after the last match goes on.
No,
like straight in the trucks. So.
I put them straight on the trucks, but when I set them up,
clean them.
Then we wash them, because they're gonna get dirty, when you like
move them around.
Yeah. So once you set it up, you have to clean it, and the warm up mats too. Let's not forget those. But speaking of expansion, I want to make an announcement here on your podcast. We do offer an apprentice program for people who want to run their own tournament. Even if you want to run a Copa tournament, which we can help you, like Copa in another state or even in Virginia, or you're going to run your own tournament, we do offer an apprentice program. So please reach out to us. We do have a website, copa-bjj.com, and our contact information is there. And you can, work with us, and you'll be an apprentice. And I think after the first time, you'll get paid too for your help. But if you're looking to run a tournament in the future, or even just be part of a tournament, just work in a tournament, we can help you out. Sometimes I do get folks that are blue belts, and they're like, I want to referee. Well, as I said, I keep a high standard with the referees. So if you're not a brown belt or a black belt, I'm sorry, I cannot help you until you get that rank. But if you are a brown belt and a black belt, and we have done this before, you can be an apprentice referee, and we can help you out. And some of our former apprentices now are regular staff, and they were up to the standard. And we had some other people that just did not work out. So it is up to you. But we do offer opportunities for people that want to learn the other side of the business and contribute to jiu-jitsu somehow. That's another great thing that with the popularization of jiu-jitsu is like, the model is not just like, oh, I'm either a student or I'm either instructor. Now you can do video for jiu-jitsu. You can sell gear about jiu-jitsu. There's, this whole industry around jiu-jitsu has been created, and that is great. To just become more popular and more people are doing it. So we're happy to see that.
That's it. Until we get our NBC, our ESPN contracts, we have to have this industry. The business has to develop naturally, and people can monetize it. We talked about that a lot on the show too, is people trying to find like careers in the space that they love. So I think that's a pretty cool thing you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, thank you. And once again, it would not be possible without your support. And I'm a big believer that I'm an academy owner, but I want to see more academy owners in the DC metro area. And even though I'm a tournament owner too, I think it's healthy that we have other tournaments in the area too. And it would be nice from a business perspective if I had the monopoly, but I don't think it's healthy in the long term. And plus, when you have other people, it helps you keep your standards, or it helps you check yourself a little bit, because if you don't do a good job, people will not come to your place, either your academy or your tournament. So once again, I am supportive of having more academies and more tournaments, and for people to see and judge for themselves what is the best for them. It just grows jiu-jitsu overall.
Yeah, healthy competition makes all of us better for sure. So
I know you have a time constraint here soon. So what we'll do, we'll put up all your information. We'll promote it in like the show notes and all that, especially what you said about the apprenticeship and all that. We'll put that in there.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for that. And I appreciate the opportunity, guys. I know it was difficult to have me here without, having to drink coffee with you, but
well, now I know you want whiskey.
Yeah, well,
now I know.
Not in the morning.
You don't want whiskey.
I'm a social drinker. Please do not get the wrong message out there. And if you're serious competitive, maybe you should not be drinking alcohol. But if you are,
when you're off the clock,
when you are a businessman and you're a family man and you want to wind down, and watch a movie, there's nothing wrong having an adult beverage once in a while.
Well,
that's a reasonable way to look at it.
Next time we'll have you on at the reasonable hour to have some whiskey, and
maybe we'll watch some fights. We'll do some analysis. We'll do it in the evening. Watch them. We can critique, and then maybe we'll see.
Absolutely, it'd be nice to do some critique of some jiu-jitsu matches.
Maybe we do some Copa matches. We say Copa. Let's pick 5 or 6 cool matches.
Yeah,
break it down. We'll have a little fun.
I think maybe that's a great idea.
One, 2 drinks max.
We already. Do 3 matches max. What about that?
Well, I'll say,
because you don't want me to start snoring in the middle of the podcast.
Right. So. 1 drink per match.
So,
hard rule.
So no, I think that's a great idea. I think maybe we can pick a few matches from some copas over time to begin with, and critique them and go from there. And I think it will be. I think it's a great idea. So looking forward to that, guys.
Man, we'll make it happen. That sounds fun.
Okay, thanks again for the invite.
Yeah, before we wrap, what all ways can people find you, find Copa?
Absolutely. So once again, our website for the Copa tournaments is copa-bjj.com. For my academy, it is dc-bjj.com. All the information is there. Please reach out to us with any questions that you have. We'd love to have you over.
Excellent. And, thank you guys again. That was Fighters Drinking Coffee. We will have all of the information in the show notes of how to find everything related to the Copa tournaments, as well as Dimitri and his gym. So we'll throw all that in the show notes so you guys have an easy way to get to that. And as always, like, follow, and subscribe. You can get us on at Fighters Drinking Coffee on Instagram for all updates, and we'll have updates as we'll be pushing out the updates as well from that Dimitri talked about on the show here. So we'll have when he makes those announcements, we'll throw those out on the Instagram. And yep, like, follow, subscribe, rate, review, all those things help get this podcast out to more people. So yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.